Trump admin's use of Alien Enemies Act raises constitutional crisis concerns. An immigration attorney warned Monday that the U.S. is approaching a constitutional crisis as the Trump administration openly defies a federal judge's order. The government is accused of trying to remove U.S. District Court Judge James Boasberg, who blocked the deportation of Venezuelans accused, without due process, of being gang members under the Alien Enemies Act. "I think we're getting very close to that constitutional crisis," said Lee Gallant, deputy director of the ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Project, during the court hearing. The Trump administration requested Boasberg's removal, despite the 1798 law only applying during declared wars, a condition not met. Gallant criticized the administration's actions. "The president is simply thumbing his nose at Congress," he said. "They've invoked the act in an unprecedented and lawless way, refusing to let individuals prove they're not part of the Tren de Aragua gang." He revealed that many deportations occurred secretly. "We don't know all of the individuals who have been removed so far because the government did it in secret," he added. Boasberg gave the administration until Tuesday to explain its actions after he issued a Saturday order halting deportations to El Salvador. However, the government claimed the court lacks jurisdiction over the president's powers under the Alien Enemies Act. Despite Boasberg's directive, the administration reportedly ignored the ruling. The New York Times found that none of the planes in question landed in El Salvador before the judge's order, and one didn't leave U.S. soil until after the order was posted online. During the hearing, the normally unflappable judge raised his voice, Politico reported, dismissing the Justice Department's claims of urgency in continuing the flights. Trump's immigration czar, Tom Homan, declared on Fox News, "We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think." Reacting to Homan's defiance, Gallant told ABC News, "I almost don't know what to say to that. That is a really, really dangerous comment." He warned that if the administration continues to defy the courts, we are closing in on what people would call a constitutional crisis. "Our country is based on the rule of law," he stressed. "The federal courts have always been able to say what the law is. This is a real separation of powers question. Open defiance," he warned, "is a real slippery slope to a different kind of country." Former U.S. Labor Secretary Robert Reich echoed these fears in a blog post, warning that many people wonder if we're in a constitutional crisis. He expressed concern that Trump's inner circle includes extremist anti-democracy nihilists, including his vice president, who are encouraging him to defy the Supreme Court. If and when he does, Reich wrote, "We'll be in a constitutional crisis that should cause every American to take to the streets." Ukraine deploys its new Neptune missile in strike against Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced in a national address that the country had successfully tested a domestically produced drone with a range of 3,000 kilometers. Additionally, Zelensky confirmed the effective use of Ukraine's own Neptune missile in a recent attack. "We can say that we're satisfied with the results of the attack," he stated, without providing further details. The Neptune missile, originally developed during the Soviet era as an anti-ship weapon, has been adapted by Kyiv for strikes against land targets. Last year, the Ukrainian military revealed plans to extend the missile's range from 300 to 1,000 kilometers, significantly boosting its striking capabilities. In a broader effort to strengthen its defense, Ukraine is doubling the production capacity of its military industry, prioritizing drones and long-range missiles. By ramping up domestic arms production, Kyiv aims to reduce its reliance on foreign-supplied weaponry in its fight against Russia. President Donald Trump lashed out at Atlantic reporter Ashley Parker after she requested an interview, reigniting his feud with the magazine. Ashley Parker is not capable of doing a fair and unbiased interview. "She is a radical left lunatic and has been as terrible as is possible for as long as I have known her," Trump declared on social media. He also repeated his false claim of winning the 2020 election, stating Parker doesn't even know that I won the presidency 3 times. Trump dismissed the possibility of speaking with her, saying, "If you have some other reporter, let us know, but Ashley is not capable or competent enough to understand the intricacies of high-level politics." He also targeted Parker's colleague, Michael Scherer, a former Washington Post journalist now with The Atlantic. "Likewise, Michael Scherer has never written a fair story about me, only negative and virtually always lies," Trump fumed. Turning his anger toward The Atlantic itself, Trump called it a third-rate outlet. He recalled its 2020 report, claiming he referred to fallen World War II soldiers as suckers and losers, an allegation he has repeatedly denied. The Atlantic is doing terribly, losing a fortune, and will hopefully fold up and be gone in the not-too-distant future. It has absolutely no credibility and would be far better off in terms of journalism to cease publication, he wrote. Although he criticized the magazine, Trump did not entirely rule out an interview, but insisted on speaking with a different journalist. "When you have a writer with intelligence, competence, and fairness, please let me know," he concluded. Trump's feud with The Atlantic dates back years. In early 2024, the magazine published an issue warning against his re-election. Our team of brilliant writers makes a convincingly dispositive case that both Trump and Trumpism pose an existential threat to America and to the ideas that animate it. Editor Jeffrey Goldberg wrote, urging voters to prevent Trump's return. Goldberg also recalled Trump's infamous 2015 remark about the late Senator John McCain, whom Trump claimed was not a war hero because he was captured. "I couldn't understand his soul sickness. How does a person come to such a rotten, depraved thought?" Goldberg wrote, condemning Trump's potential comeback. Trump has also slammed the magazine's financial supporters. In 2020, he attacked Laurene Powell Jobs, widow of Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, for helping fund the outlet. Steve Jobs would not be happy that his wife is wasting money he left her on a failing radical left magazine that is run by a con man, Goldberg, and spews fake news and hate, Trump wrote in September 2020. Throughout his presidency and beyond, Trump has repeatedly accused The Atlantic of dishonesty and partisanship, portraying it as part of a broader media campaign against him. If you like this news and want more updates relating to this, please like, share, and subscribe. Elon Musk's AI chatbot calls him a top misinformation spreader. Elon Musk's own artificial intelligence system, Grok, has turned against its creator, identifying him as one of the largest spreaders of misinformation on X, the platform Musk owns. Musk, who frequently promotes Grok as the ultimate source for accurate information, once urged users to grok it instead of using Google. He has praised it as the world's smartest AI, calling it based and vital for the rigorous pursuit of the truth without regard to criticism. In 2024, Musk wrote, "Perhaps it is now clear why Grok is so important. It is far from perfect right now, but will improve rapidly. Rigorous pursuit of the truth, without regard to criticism, has never been more essential." However, Grok itself has contradicted its creator's claims, stating that Musk is one of the top purveyors of misinformation on X. In a separate post, the chatbot ranked Musk as the platform's leading misinformation spreader, with former U.S. President Donald Trump in second place. When Metro directly asked Grok who the biggest spreader of misinformation was, the AI replied, "Based on available reports and analyses, Elon Musk is frequently identified as one of the most significant spreaders of misinformation on X." The chatbot cited Musk's massive following, which amplifies his misleading posts on topics like elections and conspiracy theories. Grok added, "His role as the platform's owner further magnifies his influence, as his content often escapes the same scrutiny or moderation applied to others." While the AI noted that the subjective nature of misinformation makes it difficult to crown a definitive biggest spreader, it concluded, Musk's name comes up most prominently in current data and discussions. The irony is clear. Despite Musk's claims of fighting misinformation and promoting free speech, his own AI identifies him as a major contributor to the problem. According to Grok, its conclusions are based on data from publicly available sources and datasets reviewed by human AI tutors. Concerns over misinformation on X have been raised repeatedly. When Musk bought Twitter in 2022 and rebranded it, he pledged to make it a free speech platform. He posted, "I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means." However, shortly after taking control, Musk banned several high-profile journalists for allegedly doxing him by sharing publicly available flight data about his jet. Under Musk, X disbanded its Trust and Safety Council, replacing it with Community Notes. Yet, critics point out that many of Musk's own misleading posts remain free of such labels. A top EU official previously warned that X had become the biggest source of fake news and urged Musk to take stronger action against disinformation. Russia agrees to 30-day pause on attacks against Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Russia has agreed to halt strikes on Ukraine's energy infrastructure for 30 days. The Kremlin announced Tuesday following a phone conversation between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to the Kremlin, Putin accepted a U.S. proposal for the temporary suspension of attacks, provided that Ukraine also refrains from targeting Russian energy sites. However, the White House did not specify when the agreement would take effect. While the discussion aimed at reducing hostilities, it did not lead to a broader ceasefire agreement. In a statement after the call, the White House said, "The leaders agreed that the movement to peace will begin with an energy and infrastructure ceasefire, as well as technical negotiations on implementation of a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, full ceasefire and permanent peace." The statement also indicated that negotiations would begin immediately, but it remains uncertain whether Kyiv supports the phased ceasefire plan.